Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's early spring here in my desert garden, Zone 7B, and there's just so much going on. I'm like, I have to share this with you guys, so let's just get started. So a lot of these things are updates on some of the previous videos that I've made for my channel, so make sure you do go check those videos out. I'll link them in the description below. First update I want to give you guys is the winter sowing that I did back in February. I have my winter sowed jugs lined up by the wall here. This is an east wall, east facing wall, and it gets plenty of sunlight in the morning, still gets kind of cool shade in the afternoons, and it's rained really nicely here recently, so I've only had to water these jugs maybe a couple times since I started the sowing process. But let's take a look inside and see what's going on. So in this one, this is Bachelor Button. Nice and green, healthy seedlings. They're going to be so strong. They're looking so good. This one's Yarrow, and I only see one or two little green seedlings in there. This is Lupin, and I see a couple green little seedlings starting to germinate and sprout. One of my all-time favorites, the Green Magic Broccoli. Looking pretty good. Now the other jugs haven't really done much, you guys, but I'm just so excited that it's been such an easy process that's super hands-off, and these seedlings are going to be ready to go in no time. And while I'm on this side of the garden, I wanted to show you guys this amazing cabbage update. So these are cabbages that I planted last fall, and I let them overwinter. And now that the weather is slightly warming up, they're absolutely loving it. As you can see, the garlic that I planted as well is all coming up really nicely. Look at these big, healthy cabbage leaves, you guys. And believe it or not, one of the really bad looking grocery store garlic cloves has actually sprouted. But for sure, the ones that I harvested myself are doing the best. The one thing I will tell you about doing it this way, where you plant it in late fall, let it overwinter, and let it produce while the weather is slowly starting to warm up, is you do risk the chance of these plants bolting. So it's really important for you to kind of experiment if you're going to do it this way, and just kind of maybe do like a test run one season, plant the cabbages and the brassicas in different areas of your garden just to see how they respond to your normal weather and the natural change in the season. As a matter of fact, the first season that I tried this, I planted these brassicas, the cabbages, broccoli, and whatnot, all throughout the garden just to kind of see how they do through the fall, through the winter, and into the spring. So certainly I had a lot of plants that bolted in certain areas, but this area seemed to do the best. Now this wall is an eastern wall and it faces southwest, so that might have something to do with it, where it retains just enough heat to protect the plants. But again, there's a risk of it bolting, so we'll just have to see how it goes. Oh, another concern that I have with the cabbages and brassicas in general is pest damage and whatnot. So I'm starting to get a little concerned as the weather is warming up. You know, these bugs are going to come out and start plaguing our plants. So I might move the netting from that side of the yard over here to cover the cabbages or something else like that. You know, and I can't complain at all because I've harvested so many times from this garden bed throughout the fall and winter, and even now just a few days ago. And over here you can see some shallots that I planted. And these are the strawberries that I did the other day, guys. I potted these up. They're looking excellent, starting to wake up. Now the weather's still getting pretty cold here. We still have a night that's going into 34 degrees here in the 10-day forecast. That would explain some of the browning of the leaves, a little bit of cold damage, and a slow start to some of the bare roots. But initially, I was just keeping them in these plastic totes for warmth, kind of like a little greenhouse, as you can see right there. The plan is going to be to remove this strawberry crate and update it, grow vertically, and then we'll see how that goes. There's some strawberry that I started from seed and some that I transplanted that come back every year. I'm going to have to do something about these as well as some carrots that I never harvested. Alright, so in this tote, I started some seedlings, more radishes, because I harvested some the other day. We've got some shallots here, a couple red onions, and then more radishes. I'm keeping them in the tote to keep that humidity. I do take the lid off during the daytime, and then I put it back on in the evening so that they'll stay warm and it just helps with germination because, like I said, we're still getting nights in the mid 30s here. And every year, my dwarf peach tree gives us this beautiful blessing of blooms. This is a dwarf peach called Peach Bonanza, and look at these absolutely stunning, beautiful pink buds. Such an exciting thing to see, and such a nice, cheerful, bright pop of color that's much needed around this time of year. These are my hollyhocks that should be blooming this year. And I did do some cleanup to kind of get rid of the dead leaves and twigs and whatnot. Still have to address my garden beds, clean that up, and prepare them with composted manure and mulch and etc. So I'll be working on that hopefully pretty soon. And of course, guys, my rose bushes. So these are the roses that I pruned just the other day. And as you can see, they're looking so good. Nice and clean, lots of airflow, sunlight, and they've officially leaved out. And guys, the other day I did plant out some cilantro. I started these guys inside several weeks ago, and once they got to about transplanting age, moved them out into my garden beds, and they're doing really good. Now guys, I've struggled growing cilantro out here in the past just because it gets so hot in the summer and even in the spring, mid to late spring, to where cilantro is usually pretty quick to bolt, where it sends up flowers, starts making seeds, and it changes the flavor and the texture of the plant. So I thought, you know what, let me just start it here in winter, start it indoors, get it ready, plant it out, because they're very cold tolerant. They'll tolerate freezes, snowfall, etc. And like I said, they've been doing really well, so I can't wait. I think I've found the perfect time to plant cilantro to get a good harvest without having them bolt on me and whatnot. So, you know, that's what gardening is all about. You just have to kind of experiment. It's all about timing, location, etc. So, you know, you just have to kind of go out there and do it and find out what works for you and how to make it work for you. Alright guys, and finally, my wonderful little cherry tree. I'm so excited to share this with you guys. As you can see, the buds are doing so well on this tree, and the tree is looking as healthy as ever. This is technically the first tree that I've planted here, and I'm just so happy with the results because, you know, as you know in one of my previous videos, I struggled with one of the other trees that I tried to plant here. Same cherry tree, but this one did so well. Again, it's all about timing, and I just cannot wait to see what this cherry tree does this year. Oh, and just the other day I planted a star jasmine over here. So I'm planning on, it's going to be a vining plant, and I've been babying it in a pot for a while. So I finally got it out of its pot. It was certainly root bound, so I had to get the roots kind of loosened up, and I thought, you know what, this is supposed to be a really vigorous growing plant. Why don't I just get it in the ground? So now that I have some confidence with planting stuff in the ground here, after I've done it a few times now, I went ahead and stuck that guy in the ground. It's going to hopefully grow up these walls. I'll trellis it, and it should make a really nice vining wall for us. So anyways, guys, that's it for the video today. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a super exciting and busy time for me. I love this season. I love that my plants are starting to wake up, and it's just going to be such a great season. I can already feel it. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and checking things out with me here in my desert garden. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. If you liked the video, please let me know. Share a like, share a comment, and we'll see you on the next one.